These staghorn ferns are Platycerium bifurcatum. They're the most commonly grown of the 18 species of staghorn or elkhorn ferns. They're found in Africa, Asia, Australia, and one species is from South America. The bifurcation species is native to rainforests of Java, New Guinea, and eastern Australia. They become naturalized in Florida and Hawaii, where they're becoming invasive, and they are the most common one that is sold. They grow from short rhizomes and produce two kinds of fronds. We may call them leaves, but true leaves don't grow flowers. A fern frond is kind of a hybrid between a leaf, a stem, and a flower. The fertile fronds may produce brown patches of spores on the ends, which is sort of like a leaf growing a flower. The infertile fronds form a base shield that starts green and eventually dries to a brown papery covering. It covers the roots and rhizomes, it protects them from drying out, and it collects rainwater. Don't take it off, even when it turns brown. The specific epithet of bifurcatum means that the fertile fronds of this species keep splitting in two. In some species, the fronds are long and skinny without much branching. And in one species, the fronds are huge like elephant ears. In some species, the fronds point up to form a crown shape. In some species, they hang straight down. And in some species, they do both. Staghorns are epiphytes, so they grow on trees in the jungle. So they like bright light, but not direct sunlight during the hot afternoon. They are unusual as ferns as they can tolerate not being watered for several days at a time. Indoors in the winter, they can go for a week without watering. They do absorb water through their leaves, so when you water them, you should get the leaves wet. The surface of the leaves may look like they have a silvery dust on them. Do not wipe it off. These are trichomes, which are kind of like little hairs that are on the fronds. They protect the plant from too much sunlight, and they help absorb rainwater. Most staghorns prefer 70s and 80s, but these bifurcatums can survive a night of light frost. They can be fertilized in the summer with a dilute liquid fertilizer or with slow-release pellets. Some people will throw banana peels on top of the plant. This mimics the idea of dead leaves being collected by the plant in its natural habitat. The dead organic matter needs to be broken down by bacteria and fungi before a plant can use it. So the banana peel will feed the plant in about a year. In the meantime, it will attract fruit flies to your plants. So the plant and your garden will be better off if you compost the banana peel and feed the fern with a little bit of the compost. Small staghorn ferns can be grown in pots or as kokedama balls. Eventually, though, they will probably need to be repotted. They can grow on a wooden plank or in a wire hanging basket. They can grow 3 feet across, and they can become very heavy. If you have one on a wooden plank and the sterile fronds start growing over the sides, don't try to unmount it. Just install the small plank onto a larger plank. If the rhizome has created new small offset plantlets, they can be cut off to start new plants, as long as they have some roots of their own. I've got 2 staghorn ferns here that need to be repotted. The first one bought several years ago in a small 4-inch pot for $11 according to the tag here. It needed to be cut out of the pot. The roots are the entire exact shape of the pot, including the drainage holes, and it needs to go into something. This one was a kokedama ball for several years. It still is. It still hangs just fine. And you can see the original kokedama ball here, and then you have the root system up here. There's wire that needs to be cut out. There's still some of the fishing line string attached to it, and you can then see the sterile fronds. There's several layers of those. They get bigger and bigger over time, and so those need to be kept, and we need to work our way around those. They have been wrapping around the wire, so we're going to need to do something with that. Now, what I'd like to do here is I've got several different possible... Well, as you just heard, the audio broke at this point in the video. What I'm describing here are several possible wooden planks that I'm considering using for new mounts on these staghorn ferns. The first one is a beautiful oak round that I made, and I decided that it would be better used as a clock face or as a pot holder in the kitchen. The second choice is horizontal wood planks left over from a kitchen cabinet. They're nicely done, they're waterproof, and they're ready to go.
The third choice is a pretty 2-trunk wood slab I cut off from a stump, but the chainsaw almost ruined the piece. I think I can salvage it, and I think it'll work really well on one of the Staghorn ferns. Another possible way to hang the Staghorn ferns is in a basket. I decided to use this wire basket. I've lined it with cocoa fibers and used a potting mix of wet sphagnum moss, pine bark, and a little potting soil. All mixed together and then added into the basket around the root ball of the Staghorn fern. Even though I fixed the sound problem for the second Staghorn fern, I kind of like the fast forwarding through the potting video just to tell you what happened. I decided which way the board should go. Then I removed the wires and fishing line. I decided to split the round root ball so that it would fit onto the board better. I screwed exterior finished wood screws around the root ball and then wrapped fishing line around the screws and across the roots until the fern was firmly established to the board. Next, I added a strip of cocoa fibers as a loose kind of pot that would hold the planting mix I used on the other Staghorn fern. I filled the space between the root ball and the cocoa fibers. I then mounted a picture frame wire to the back so the fern can hang on a wall. Well, it's been at least 3 months since I potted these Staghorn ferns. The one in the basket is doing really well. It's sending out a new fertile frond. The sterile frond is starting to grow and spread out as well. And it's very easy to water. I can either just water it with the sprinkler head, or I can stick it in a bucket of water and water it that way. So this one has worked really well. The fern that's growing on the 2-trunk stump slice that the chainsaw messed up is doing really well as well. I did add a second layer of the cocoa fibers across the top to create a little bit of area where water can kind of pool to soak in. Otherwise, it was kind of running off too quickly. I threw a couple of decorative mosses on top to make it look nicer. It has sent out another fertile frond, as well as the sterile frond is growing nice, large piece spreading out here. So I think both of these Staghorn ferns are a success. And this is Jeff with the Green Review. Thanks for watching.